So good morning everyone. I welcome you all to today's class. So yesterday we have seen what is a Bayes theorem. So today we will try to solve the problem which is based on the Bayes theorem. So friends, it's a very important concept and you can expect this problem in your examinations, both internal or external also, right? So there are various forms of Bayes theorem. Means the formula of Bayes theorem can be written in many ways, and accordingly, based on the type of problem you are solving, you can choose the appropriate Bayes theorem, right? So let me show you the problem which we were discussing yesterday, right? So this is the problem, friends. The patient takes a lab test and the result comes back positive. Patient takes a lab test and the result comes back positive. The test returns a correct positive result. Test returns a correct positive result in only 98% of the cases in which the disease is actually correct. So please try to remember, right, what this is called as. Out of 100 people, let us say out of 100 people who are positive, who have really got a cancer disease, if I do a test on them, 98% people will get positive, means which is the correct answer. But for remaining 2 people, even though they have cancer, it shows that they do not have cancer because the correct positive result is 98%. So for this, we have used a word to represent this. What was that word? Right? So for 2% people, it says they don't have cancer. But is it true? The test returns correct to positive result in only 98% of the cases. Means for 2% it says they have negative, means they don't have cancer, but originally they have cancer. So this is called as, this negative, whatever it is saying it is negative, this is false. So false negative. False negative means the person has actually got the disease, but our what we say, program says he has negative, means false negative, it's not correct. So 98% it will, for positive people, 98% it is giving correct answer. For 2% of the people it is giving wrong answer. Giving wrong answer means what? For positive people it is saying negative, it is saying they don't have cancer. So this is called as the 2% of negative answers which we are getting, they are actually positive. So this negative answer is false negative. Similarly, suppose if I do the test on 100 people who don't have cancer, means for all 100 people the report should be negative only, right? For all 100 people report should be negative. But what is happening, sir? For 97% of the people the report is correct. Means what? For 97% people it is saying negative, but for 3% people it is giving it as positive, means they don't have cancer but still it is saying they have cancer. So for 3% people, so that positive which it is showing is also not correct. So this is called as false positive. So friends, please try to understand the difference between false negative and false positive. So this part is talking about false negative, right? And this part, 97% of the cases in which disease is not present, right? This is false positive, right? Means it is not present, means it should be negative, but for 97% it is giving result as negative, but for 3% people it is giving result as positive, means that positive is not correct. So we call it as false positive. So we have discussed this yesterday, we have spent a lot of time on this one, right? So now we try to solve this problem. So before we actually begin, if you have any doubts in the words false positive and false negative, you can please ask. Right? Shall we solve the problem? Any doubts with respect to these two words, false positive and false negative? Anybody has any confusion, please let me know before we actually solve this problem. Anybody, any confusions? If you don't have any confusion, please mention the same thing in the chat box so that I can move forward. Shall we move on? Please respond. Shall we move on? Yes, sir. Okay. Fine, friends. So now, in the last line, see, this is the question. A patient takes a lab test and the result comes positive. Right? Does a patient have cancer or not? This is the problem. Now a patient takes a lab test and result comes back positive. The test returns correct positive result in only 98% of the cases and correct negative result in 97% of the cases. That is one part. And furthermore 0.008 of entire population have this cancer. So what do you mean by this? Right? Irrespective of percentage of positive, percentage of negative, out of total population, suppose let us say this X is my total population. Out of total population, 0.008% of people have cancer. Who exactly, who is that person? I don't know, but out of my entire population, 0.008 people will have cancer. That is there in the question. It is given. So now see here, friends, P of cancer, right? What is the overall percentage of in the entire population? How much percentage of the people have got the cancer? That is already given in the question, 0.008. So the probability of having cancer is 0.008. So these values I am trying to fill. Please try to observe carefully. So how I got 0.008? It is given in the question. It is given in the question. Now, as per probabilities, if 0.008 people have cancer, then how much percentage or how much proportion of the people do not have cancer? This negation is do not have cancer. So probability of cancer, probability of not having cancer. So please tell me, please respond. If 0.008 percent of people have got cancer, then how much proportion of the people do not have cancer? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can anyone answer? Excellent, excellent. Excellent, B5. So answer is very simple. 1 minus 0.008, which is 0.992, right? So to make it simple, I can now directly write it as 0.992. So I hope everyone understood why I got 0.992. So this is 9, not 1. Now P of plus by cancer, P of A by B kind of thing, my dear friends, right? So the meaning of this plus by cancer means what is the percentage of people right? When I conduct the test, how much percentage of people are expected to have positive result? Means what is the percentage of positivity? Test returns a correct positive result in 98% of cases. Test returns positive result only in 98% of cases, right? So positive percentage is 98. So that will come here 0.98. 0.98. Now, if 0.9 means 98% of the times it will return correct positive result, it means that how many times it will fail? 2% of the times it will fail. Means actually the result is positive. The meaning of this third statement is, I'm trying to explain this one. Actually it is positive, but the system is giving wrong negative result. Means false negative percentage is 2%. We know very well 98% is correct. For positive results it is giving 98% accuracy. So for negative 2% is false negative. So 0.98 is my accuracy in positive cases. Then 1 minus 0.98 will be my false negative rate. 0.02. So 98%, 2%. Very simple, friends. Very, very simple. Right. So similarly, we will try to fill this. So this we have 0.008. We have calculated this as 0.992. 0.992. Now, in the negative case, means if I send 100 people who don't have cancer, if I send them to take the test, for all 100 people, actually it should say that they don't have cancer, because really they don't have cancer. But it is giving 97% accuracy, means for 97% people, it will correctly tell that they don't have cancer. Means for 97% people, the answer is negative, so 97%. For remaining 3% people, actually they don't have cancer, but it is telling that they have cancer, means negative of that. So false positive, false positive, means for 3% people it say that they have cancer, but originally they don't have. So 98% and its reverse is 3%, so 0.03. So these are the values which you should be in a position to compute. You can solve the problem easily if you know these values, if you can solve, if you can write, or if you can compute these values. Similar question will come in your mid-examination, right? So what is this first one? Now this first one I can represent it as probability of A. Let me call this one A as the event. The event is having a cancer disease. So now what is this P of negation of cancer means? Probability of, right? I am trying to simplify this, right? Now this one is plus bar cancer means probability of. So there are two things, my dear friends. Yesterday in the beginning I told you there are two things. One is an event, another one is the condition, right? So here the event is having a cancer disease or not is the event, which I am representing with A. And when I will come to know that a person is having cancer or not, when he undergoes the test. So the condition to decide that a person has got cancer or not, the condition is he should go for the test. So when he goes for the test, so I represent this one with X. When he goes for the test, right, X by A. When he goes for the test, P of X by A means it is, see, the test returns correct positive result in only 98% of the cases. The meaning is the person has gone for the test and the percentage of positive result is 98. So P of X by A is 0.98. If 0.98 is P of X by A, then what is this 0.02? It is very simple. It will be P of any guesses? It should be P of X bar is it correct? Can anybody respond? Is it correct? Please observe carefully. Why I am spending this much time on this problem is this problem you can expect in your external exam also, and in mid exam definitely I will ask. (0.092). No, that is only P of negation A. Achha, that you have answered for previous one. Okay. So is it correct? So what is P of A? This one, 0.008. P of not A is 0.992. P of X bar A is 0.98. And for negative of A, so friends, please observe this P of X bar A, this P of this part, how do I write it here? P of X bar negative A. So this is P of X bar negative A. So you should be in a position to identify what is P of A, what is P of negative A, what is P of X by A, what is P of X bar negative A or negation of A, right? So what is this one? 0.02. This one is called as false negative. So in the question sometimes they will ask you to find false negative percentage also. So this is called as false negative. So 6 values you need to compute false negative, and this last one 0.03 is called as false positive. False positive. Right? So friends, there are 6 components which you should be in a position to compute. One is P of A, another one is P of not A, then P of X bar A, P of X bar not A. Then what is the percentage of false negatives? What is the percentage of false positives? Right? Anyhow, this will be recorded, so you can go through this again, or if you want, you can just make a note of all these things. Now, what is the question? Does a patient have cancer or not? Does a patient have cancer or not? Why this question is coming is simply by looking at the test report, I cannot come to a conclusion that if the test report says that this fellow has got cancer, I cannot blindly believe that yes, he has got cancer, because the percentage or the probability of positive results accuracy is only 98%. So I don't know if someone says that so and so person has got positive report, I don't know whether he falls under that 98% cases or he falls under the 2% case, I don't know. Suppose if someone says this person's report is negative, still I can't believe that this fellow has really got negative, because negative's accuracy is also 97%. So whether this fellow's report falls under 97% cases or 3% cases, I don't know, right? So does the patient have cancer or not? to what extent I can trust this particular report which has got these kind of probabilities. So now you need to tell whether a patient has got a cancer or not by applying the Bayes theorem, right? Now the formula for Bayes theorem is, observe this carefully, my dear friends. Observe this carefully. Yeah. One form of Bayes theorem we have seen in our previous class, and we have also done our lab experiment based on that. Now this is another form of Bayes theorem, right? Now suppose if you want to know whether a patient has got cancer or not, and if you have these values of percentage of entire population having cancer, and if you know what is your P of x bar A, P of x bar not A, then you can apply this formula. Please observe this carefully. P of x bar A, P of x bar A into P of A, P of x bar A into P of A divided by P of x bar A into, here also into P of A plus P of x bar not A into P of not A. Right? Now that's the reason we have done all these computations. Now you know how to substitute them, right? I hope you can substitute them. So what is P of x by A? P of x by A is 0.98. So it will be 0.98 into what is P of A? 0.008. So I'll just erase this one. I can write 0. P of x by A is 0.98 into 0.008, right? Divided by same 0.98 into 0.008 plus, right, P of x bar not A. P of x bar not A. What is the value for P of x bar not A? 0.97 into 0.992. This will be our answer. So let us quickly do this calculation also. Right, what is 0.98? 0.9, oh my god, 0.98 into 0.008. It is equal to 0.00784. 0.00784 divided by, so this value is again 0.00784. I need to multiply, I need to find this. So clear, 0.97, what happened, sorry, 0.97 into 0, what happened, oh my god, into 0.992. This product is 0.962, 0.96224. So this part is 0.96224 plus this I need to add, which is 0.00784, right? So plus 0.00784. So when I add them, I got 0.97008. So friends, this part will be 0.97008. So we got the numerator and denominator. Now we will do the division part. So 0.00784 divided by 0.97008, right? So what is the percentage into 100 we have to do, right? So hardly 8%, is it 0.8%? See here, now what is the purpose of this calculation is, this percentage will tell you to what extent this result can be considered, right? So if it is saying that the person has got cancer, right, you can say that yes, this person has got cancer and this answer can be accepted with a percentage or with a trust of 0.08%, right? So Bayes theorem will help you in justifying certain probabilities, right? So this is one important formula, my dear friends. This is one important application of Bayes theorem. Another one simple example which we have already seen in our first lab exercise. So Bayes theorem's another form is this one: P of x by a into P of a by P of x by a into P of a plus P of x by not a into P of not a. So this is what is the Bayes theorem, right? Another form of Bayes theorem which we have seen. Now we will move on, right? I hope it is clear, right? Is it clear to everyone? First of all, let me know. We have solved it slowly, step by step. So I hope it's clear to everyone, right? Thank you. Fine, we'll move on. This product rule, sum rule, theory of total probability we have discussed in our last class, right? Brute force map hypothesis learner, right? One second. This we have not seen, right? So choosing an hypothesis. So friends, we can also use Bayes theorem. We can also use Bayes theorem in selecting hypothesis. Hypothesis means you know the target function. So suppose for same problem, if I have two types of target functions, H1 and H2. This is possible, you know very well. In decision trees we have seen, in candidate elimination we have seen, and even in neural networks also it is possible. For same problem you can implement it with multiple types of neural networks. Suppose with one neural network you got H1 as your final output activation function or target function, and H2 is another output function of same problem solved using different number of layers in the neural network. So I can solve the same problem with multiple types of networks, neural networks. It is possible. So let us assume there are two hypotheses, H1 and H2. Now which one you will select? The one which will give us minimum errors, right? So basically we have one technique of calculating the cost function, and we try to minimize the cost function, right? You know that very well. So if I have two solutions, so what should I do is, for two solutions separately I need to find the cost function, then I need to find the gradients of each cost function. In back propagation algorithm we have seen in two-layered neural network, we have seen in detail, right, from A of L, right, how did we compute the gradients and how weight updates were done, right? So that entire math part behind back propagation we have seen. I request you to go back and refer that particular recording session again and again, so that you understand how weights and biases are actually updated by using internally by using gradient descent concept. So friends, suppose if I have two neural networks for the same problem, and first neural network has generated an output function, let me call it as H1, hypothesis 1. Second neural network, which is also solving the same problem, has generated another hypothesis called as H2. Now which one I should prefer? I can I can select either H1 or H2 based on one method, which is writing the cost function for H1, writing the cost function for H2. Right, for both I will write the cost functions. Then I'll try to minimize, how I am able to minimize H1, and I try to minimize H2. And finally, either out of H1 and H2, the one which is giving me the least possible cost, that particular hypothesis I can select. So that is one option which we already know, and that option is fairly good enough and it can be used. But apart from that, if you want to apply Bayes theorem, using Bayes theorem also you can select any one of the hypotheses, right? So choosing the hypothesis is the concept, right? So there is a word called as maximum likelihood. There is a word called as maximum likelihood. This one, maximum likelihood. This word you should understand. This word is again, right, important point. This word is again a question. This word can become a question in your exam. Maximum ML, maximum likelihood. So how do I find maximum likelihood? Now I will apply the normal Bayes theorem. This is P of H by D into P of D by H into P of H by P of D. So here friends, right, it is very much similar to P of A bar B, our first lab exercise which we have done, right, Friday, and student was absent, if you recollect that. So P of A bar B is P of B by A, P of B by A into P of A divided by P of B, P of B. This can also be written as P of B intersection A, B intersection A divided by P of B, P of B intersection A divided by P of B, both are same. So P of B by A into P of A by P of B can also be written as P of B intersection A divided by P of B. If you remember, P of B intersection A was 0.03, right? And the probability of a day will be Friday in 5-day week is 1 by 5, which is 0.2. So if you recollect our first lab problem, this is what we have done, and we got some 15% as the answer, right? So please try to recollect that we have applied the basic form of Bayes theorem in solving our first lab exercise, Same basic problem is shown here. Same formula is shown here, but instead of using the word A by B, they are using the word H by D. So here D represents my entire data set, H is my hypothesis, right? D represents data set, H is my hypothesis. So what we want to do is, how we want to compare hypothesis using Bayes theorem is, generally we want the most probable hypothesis given the training data D. Maximum a post-tree hypothesis H map, right? How I will calculate H map? This is the formula. ARG max of P of H by D, right? What do you mean by ARG max of P of H by D, right? P of H by D's formula I am substituting here, right? So what I will do is I can write like this: P of D intersection H, this can also be written as P of D intersection H divided by P of D. Right. So P of D intersection H means, the meaning of this one is, out of an overall data set, how many times the hypothesis gave me the correct answer or accurate answer or perfect answer. How many times the hypothesis was working properly, right? Given the maximum data set. For example, if you recollect the playing tennis example, in which we had 14 records. In those 14 records, so total number of records are 14. So denominator will be 14. Now friends, let us assume I have one hypothesis called as H1. This H1 gave me correct answers in these 14 records. When I gave these 14 training records as input to my hypothesis has predicted correctly. Let us say 10 times it gave me correct predictions. Out of 14 records, 10 times it gave me correct predictions. So P of D intersection H means, out of total number of the records, how many times the hypothesis worked perfectly. So which is 10. What is the total data size? 14. So this probability P of H1 divided by D is 10 by 14. Similarly, if I have another hypothesis H2, let us say it gave me correct answer only 9 times, then it will be 9 by 14, right? So maximum likelihood, right? Maximum likelihood means here there is no issue. By looking at the hypothesis, I can say H1 is giving me 10 times correct answer, H2 is giving me 9 times correct answer. So I will select H1. There is no doubt in that. But for example, if we assume P of Hi equal to P of Hj, means both H1 and H2, are giving correct answers. Both H1 and H2 are giving 10 times they are giving correct answers, or for 10 records they were giving correct answer out of 14 records. Now tell me which hypothesis I should take, because both hypotheses are giving me the same accuracy. So in that case, shall I go for H1 or H2? In that case, shall I go for H1 or H2? That is the point. So now comes the question, if both are fairly same, or if both are giving almost same kind of response, then how do I pick either H1 or H2? So this is a typical question. If H1 is doing better than H2, no doubt I can pick H1. If H2 is doing better than H1, then I can pick H2, no issue. But if the percentage of accuracy of H1 and H2 are same, then which one I should pick? So if we assume, right, P of Hi is equal to P of Hj, means P of H1 equal to P of H2, then we can further simplify and choose the maximum likelihood hypothesis. See here, so when H1, H2 are giving me same accuracy, then I can go for maximum likelihood. Choose the maximum likelihood hypothesis. HML is equals to ARG max of P of D by HI. So this value we will compute for every hypothesis, whichever is giving me the maximum value, that hypothesis I will prefer. But friends, remember there is an important caution here, right? There is an important point. This Bayes theorem, maximum likelihood or selecting hypothesis can be done. This can be applicable if you are not using neural networks. If you are using some other technique like candidate elimination, decision tree, then probably you can use this Bayes theorem. But if you are dealing with neural networks, the situation will be little different. Why it will be little different? I'll tell you. For example, H1 is giving me on my training data, H1 is giving 10 times it is giving correct answer out of 14 cases. Similarly, H2 is another hypothesis, and H2 is also giving me 10 times accurate or correct answers out of 14 records. 10 times it is doing proper classification. Now both are giving me same kind of accuracy. So shall I go for H1 or H2? Again the question is there. Now friends, if it is a neural network, what I need to see is what is the complexity of this neural network. So H1 came because of some neural network, right? There is some neural network. This is the output H1 and some input. Similarly, I have another neural network which is generating me H2, right? So now what I need to see is how many hidden layers are there in first neural network, how many hidden layers are there in second neural network. Like that, I need to see the complexity of the neural network. And when H1 and H2 are offering me the same kind of accuracy, then I will go with the hypothesis which is less complex, which will take less time to execute. Got the point? So in neural networks, generally in deep neural networks, instead of going for maximum likelihood, we see the complexity of the neural network, right? So this is what is application of Bayes theorem, which we have seen today, and also how do we compare hypothesis using Bayes theorem, we have seen. And tomorrow in the next class, we will be discussing how Bayes theorem can be related to concept learning. This is what we are going to see, right? So then how Bayes theorem can help us in modeling a concept learning technique, and how it can predict the probabilities, that we will see in our tomorrow's class. So how do we solve a problem when a Bayes theorem based question is given? How do we compute P of A, P of not A, P of X by A, P of X by not A, false negatives, false positives, right? Is it clear to everyone the problem which we have discussed? I will ask the similar problem in mid-exam, but the question will be little different. I'll make some changes. I may ask you to calculate false negatives. I may ask you to calculate false positives, right? So based on the question which we have discussed today, similar question you can expect in your external exam also, but definitely in your mid-exam, I'll ask this kind of question, right? So so far, whatever we have discussed today, is it clear to everyone? Please respond. Yes, sir. Okay, that's great. So thank you, friends. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.